Marshon Lattimore is the truth. He's not just looking like he's one of the best corners in his division or even in his conference. Lattimore's looking like he's already one of the very best corners in the entire NFL. We've seen some great rookie seasons for defensive backs in recent years. Patrick Peterson, Jalen Ramsey, and Marcus Peters all immediately come to mind. But what Lattimore is doing right now isn't just historically good among rookies, it's historically good, period. We're halfway through the 2017 season, and Lattimore has only been targeted a total of 19 times. That means he's on pace to only be targeted 48 times this whole year. For some perspective, Champ Bailey was targeted just 35 times the whole year during his 2006 season, which is widely regarded as the greatest season a cornerback has ever had in NFL history. So as a rookie, Marshon Lattimore might end up being only 13 targets behind the best cornerback season ever by anyone. And get this, on the 19 targets he's already faced, he's only given up 8 receptions. That's 3 catches in zone coverage for a total of 37 yards, and 5 catches in man coverage for a total of 48 yards. To make it even crazier, Lattimore has more interception return yards this season, 52, than those yards given up in man coverage. He also has more touchdowns for himself, 1, than touchdowns given up, 0. At this same point in Darrelle Revis's 2011 season, which some consider to be the best year of his Hall of Fame career, he had already given up 10 catches by Halloween compared to Lattimore's 8. This is a historically good season by Lattimore, not just among rookies, but among all corners throughout the modern era. I almost can't put into words how rare this truly is. Hell, I don't think any rookie has ever done anything like this before, so the word rare might even be underselling what we're witnessing. You look at all of the receivers that Lattimore has faced so far: Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen, Brandon Cooks, Chris Hogan, Jarvis Landry, Golden Tate, Marvin Jones, Jordy Nelson, Devontae Adams. The list goes on and on. Every single one of them has completely disappeared when Lattimore was in coverage. They might as well have sat down and picked grass for the whole game because it would have had almost the same result. His man coverage ability, in terms of combining athleticism with polished technique, is special. He can play off the line of scrimmage and use his God-given natural gifts to plant and drive on throws underneath and usually break them up, sure. We already know how great a physical specimen he is. But at the end of the day, playing corner in the National Football League is really all about combining that athleticism with technique, and his technique is what makes him special. Look no further than his tape against curls and slants from a catch or press alignment. These are two of the more troublesome timing routes that corners have to deal with because you have to be so technically immaculate all the way through the release and the break of the route. But for a guy like Lattimore, it's easy. I think his best man coverage snap all year came against Brandon Cooks in this exact same scenario early in week 2. Cooks is running a variation of a slant route called a 3-step block, where he fakes a release outside like he's running a go route in order to get Lattimore to flip his hips outside, and then he cuts back underneath him inside for, theoretically, an easy gain on the slant. It's a very hard route to cover, especially against a gifted receiver like Cooks, but Lattimore is so talented he makes it look effortless. Look at how he covers this route step by step. His butt is low in his stance before the snap, so his center of gravity is lower, which makes him more balanced. His eyes are on Cook's hips, not his torso, because no matter what, the receiver's hips are always going to be the first thing to tell you where he's going. He mirrors that first outside release well and starts to flip, but look at what he does with his hand here. He's throwing it out into Cook's shoulder and chest area to grab onto him. Now, he's trained to throw that hand out there at this point in the release for 2 reasons. 1, if Cooks does keep releasing outside, getting a hand on his shoulder helps to push him into the boundary and limit the space that he and Tom Brady have to work with. 2, getting a hand up helps him to catch Cooks if he's running a double release back inside, which he is. Getting that point of contact is instrumental in feeling the break and helping Lattimore to sort of slingshot himself back into position over Cooks' upfield hip. It's a lot harder to recover on a double release if you don't have a point of contact on the receiver's body through the break, so this is great work by Lattimore to make sure he's maintaining that contact. Now, as he throws his hand out there to help him recover, look at his feet here. He plants one foot in his transition and immediately swivels his hips all the way back around to get into the right position. That is why you look for flexibility and fluidity in a corner's hips, so they can recover in one step just like that. He wasn't even doing this consciously. It was all muscle memory and all instinct based on how much he's drilled his body into recovering against this one move. I know he works hard to perfect his technique because his feet were this automatic in transition. And look at his hands during that transition. They go right back into Cooks' chest to disrupt his timing, and through the contact, Lattimore gets his eyes on the ball. He's playing the man and the ball at the same time, sticking his hand up in between Cooks' hands to tie him up during the catch. The pass then falls incomplete. You literally cannot play a slant route better than Lattimore did here. Every young DB watching this video, take notes right now, because Lattimore's tape is some of the best teaching tape you're ever gonna find. Wide base in his stance, eyes on the receiver's hips, extend that inside hand to feel for and catch the break, smooth and controlled footwork in transition, and then playing the ball in the air through contact. I'm telling you right now, it does not get better than this. And he's not just a demon in man coverage, he's fantastic in zone coverage too. His fluidity and explosiveness allow him to transition instantly and drive on routes that try to stretch out his zones. And of course he has 4.3 speed that can keep up with pretty much anyone in the league when he's playing that deep third as well. Go routes against him are basically useless, which is immensely valuable to a defense that, even just looking at last season, could not stop the deep ball. There was a great example of his deep zone coverage ability just a couple weeks ago against the Packers. The Saints are running cover 3 zone against a Yankee concept from Green Bay. Yankee is a cover 3 killer, especially off a play action fake like this one, because it baits the free safety into making an impossible choice. Either he stays deep and brackets Jordy Nelson inside on the Dino route, which would then leave the deep over route from Davante Adams wide open for a huge gain, or he picks up Adams over the middle and leaves the corner one-on-one against Nelson, who already has inside leverage on an inside breaking route, where the throw will be leading him even further away from the corner to his inside. If the ball is thrown well enough on the Dino route and it hits him in stride, that might be a touchdown, so leaving it one-on-one is extremely risky. Like I said, Yankee concepts put free safeties into basically no-win scenarios. However, these scenarios are why the Saints drafted Lattimore, because he takes these long bombs that used to be touchdowns against this team and turns them into incompletions. 5 yards into this route, as soon as he identified that Adams was releasing so far inside to set up his leverage for the over route, his eyes immediately went to Jordy Nelson, who also released hard inside. Right then and there, he knew what was coming. He knew that the free safety, Marcus Williams, was going to take the over route, and from there he makes a beeline straight to Jordy on the Dino route. This is what defensive coaches call zone replacement. It's the awareness to know that Williams is replacing Lattimore's coverage responsibility on Adams, so Lattimore then has to replace Williams' coverage responsibility in the deep middle. And watch him track this ball all the way down once he gets to that deep middle. He transitions once again in one step, showing off that fluidity and explosiveness, and the only thing stopping this from being a pick was Nelson knocking the ball away from him at the point of the catch. And Lattimore was pissed about that too, you can see it. He knew he had a highlight reel interception right in his hands and it was taken away. But Marshon, if you ever happen to stumble upon this video, if you ever see this, trust me dude, I'm counting that one. That was a beautiful, beautiful play on the ball. And again, he's just a rookie, 8 weeks into his career, and he's already putting teaching tape out there for the rest of the league on how to play zone replacement responsibilities. Going back to his days at Ohio State, we all knew he was a Pro Bowl caliber player. He was a consensus top 10 to top 5 talent before the draft for a reason. But I don't think anyone, myself included, expected this. Marshon Lattimore is playing on a totally different level right now than any other rookie cornerback that I have ever seen. And that includes Jalen Ramsey last year, who still has the highest grade that I've given to a defensive back coming out of college, and I mean ever. Lattimore's got blinding speed, he's explosive in short areas, he's fluid in his transitions, he's physical in press coverage and polished in off coverage, he's smart when dropping into zones and limits yards after catch to basically 0. Can you get on him for a few really terrible, low-effort tackles here and there? Absolutely. But by no means would I consider him tissue paper against the run. And in coverage, this kid is the whole package and then some. Lattimore's 2017 season is redefining week after week what I thought was possible for a rookie cornerback in the NFL. He's not just the Defensive Rookie of the Year right now, he's in the running for Defensive Player of the Year. I can't wait to watch him for the rest of the season because 5 of his last 9 games are against the likes of Julio Jones, Mike Evans, Deshaun Jackson, and the newest Buffalo Bill, Kelvin Benjamin. He has aced so many big tests so far this year, but the tests are only getting bigger, faster, and scarier from here on out. I will say this though, that test goes both ways. There are very few corners those receivers have faced that are like Marshon Lattimore. He is a rare breed in this league. Not just a shutdown kind of corner, but a banish you to the shadow realm kind of corner. Evans, Benjamin, and Julio all better bring their A games against this kid, because believe me, right now, Lattimore's bringing his. Thank you so much for watching this week's episode, which is brought to you again by our friends over at the BetDSI Sportsbook. Right now, all Film Room viewers have a special offer from BetDSI. If you sign up with promo code FILM25, you get a free $25 wager credit to use on betting these games at no cost to you. You do not pay a single dime, but that free wager credit can make you some extra real cash for Black Friday coming up in a few weeks. If you're targeting that new TV or that new grill or whatever else you're going after during these holiday deals, I'm getting a PlayStation 4 bundle myself. But if you want that extra few $100 to make those things happen and you don't want to put any of your own money down to get it, just use that promo code FILM25 and try to win it absolutely for free. And have some fun while you're doing it too. Usually stuff is a hell of a lot more fun when you don't have to actually pay for it. Now, as for the channel, I obviously will not be putting out any picks videos this week again because I'm getting married on Saturday. Hell, I'm probably not going to be watching any games this weekend or Monday anyway because, spoiler alert, getting married's kind of a big deal. But I will be back at some point next week for another Film Room episode. On what, I have no idea, but hopefully you guys will enjoy watching it as much as I will no doubt enjoy making it. I just don't know what the subject is yet. So until next week, we're kind of winging it, but I'll see you guys then. Later.